Hello everyone and welcome back to Introduction to OPCloud. In today's session we're going to talk about linking and advanced linking. As you know, in OPM, linking is a very important feature. Let's see what we can do in OPCloud regarding linking. As you remember, the first thing is just creating something and connect them, selecting the open thing and then connect it to the different thing. As we remember, once we selected, the link table will be open and we can select whether we want to connect it or not. Later in this session, we will drill down into the different options of different things. Let's start with the first step, linking a regular link. Right-clicking, as we've seen, will open the link properties table. Here, we can use several options. We can define the multiplicity, whether a number or some kind of parameter that we want to use. For example, here, if I will select 2, it means that I need 2 object 1 in order to initiate a processing. I will update it and I can see the number 2. Automatically, you can see that in the OPL, we'll see 2 object 1s in plural. Let's change it into a different thing. Let's change this into driving. And now let's change this into driver. If we have a special car, driving requires 2 drivers. It also requires a car, which is, of course, physical. Our drivers, of course, are humans, so let's change them. We'll change the essence, delete the link, and recreate it with an agent link. Let's move on. Let's say we want to add a path, meaning that if I'm driving to the work, I'm driving one car, and if I'm driving to different location, I'm taking a different car. I have the SUV. So let's use the instances or generalization organization. So here I have, let's say, I have my Porsche. Again. And I have my SUV. Both are types of cars. So I will multiple select them. And depending on my modeling, I can decide whether I want to look them at generalization specialization. Porsche is a car, SUV is a car, or look them as an instance of my specific cars, which I can use as an instantiation. For our example, let's use generalization specialization. Once I select it, the link will be created. And now I can decide how do I switch them. Here you can see that once I've selected and switched, it moved directly from those 2 options. Now driving, changing my location. And the driver has an attribute, and here you can see the warning with our link that we're going to use. And in our location, let's add several places. We can be home, we can be at work, and let's add another location. For example, garden. let's arrange them nicely and decide that driving can change me, for example, from home to work or to home to the garden. I can change and interlink. So here I'm changing from home to work, and I want to use my Porsche to go to work. So I will right click, insert the path to work, and update it. As you can see, following path work, driving is required Porsche. And here I will add a path to work. As you can see, now I have a link from following path from work, and it's the same. Now I want to go to the garden. So I take a different path to garden. And here I will create another in-out, which if I will move them, unfortunately, sometimes it's a little bit hard to see. I can enlarge a little bit. I will drag those two links, remove the vertex, and I can see that now I have two things. But I want to go from home, not to work again, but to the garden. So I will move the link to the garden and will add the path to garden. And I can arrange it nicely as I want to see it. This is how we're using path. And if I will go, I can see that following the path, I can see everything that wants to go. Now, let's try a different example. I want to create a salad, and I want to have two different kinds of salads. So let's create salad making, and let's create the vegetables. Okay, let's take tomato or tomato, whichever you like to pronounce, and let's add onion, and let's add cucumber. Again, we'll change the essence. And let's, for our example, decide that we can only use one ingredient. So the result will be a salad, right? But we want to create from one of them. It can be a tomato salad, onion salad, or cucumber salad. So if I select multiple ones and I will try to connect them, it will be a problem. Now, if I'm selecting it and try to connect them, you can see that it will not give me the option to connect everyone together. From OPCloud perspective, I'm trying to connect tomato to tomato, onion, cucumber, and salad, but I only want to connect salad. So what should I do? I want to create an OR or XOR option. So first, I'm trying to connect them. So I'm trying to connect the tomato. And now I want to create a different option. I have two things. I can connect it to specifically to the port, if it was connected to the port, or just lay the link on top of the already created link. OPCloud will automatically create XOR. Here I can see that salad making consumes exactly one of onion and tomato. And again, of course, I can do it. Now that I have the link, let's zoom in a little bit so we can see it more clearly. If I want to change the actual links, I can click, as you can see here, on the rainbow, and it's changed. The arc was changed, and now you can see that it consumes exactly one. For that, it was an OR. It consumed one of them. Now, if I want to break it up, I'm just dragging it outside. If I will move it, the arc will be redefined again. If I want to edit, now when I put it on the same port, you can see the blue area, leaving the link there, will connect them together. As you can see it here. And now we are back together. Let's move on to some other stuff. And if I will put a path, it will change it according to what I'm seeing. Let's do a different thing. Let's add another object. And we'll see what happens if we try to give the option. Let's add states to our salad. And we'll give it several options. We have the tomato, we have the onion, and we have the cucumber. Now, we know that it can only be one of them. So we want to create it as a specific instance. You cannot create all of them together. So once I create a result link to a specific state, automatically OPCloud will know that you cannot create both salad in tomato and in onion state. So it created with this kind of the arc of exactly one of the states. And if I will add path, it will be very clear. It's the same thing. So if I'm adding tomato, and here I'm adding tomato, I can see that consuming exactly one of cucumber to add following the path tomato. So I don't need it, and I can just release it. Now, following the path tomato, salad will consume the tomato. Let's go to other links. Let's say we want to do some kind of conditioning. It means that if I'm taking a Porsche, then I will start driving. So if I want to replace a link, I can delete it or just redrawn it. So now I've redrawn it, and I can select the instrument condition. I can see the OPL change to driving if Porsche exists, otherwise it's skip. When we are not in zoom mode, this is not a meaningful thing. If we want to initiate an event, it's not meaningful in zoom, but only in unfold. Each link had its own set of sublinks, of conditioning, and so on, depending on the link. A different option can be whether I want to use the not. Let's say I want to say that a process needs an object only if it's not in a specific state. So let's say we have 6 states. and I want it to initiate only if it's in state, not in state 6, whether it's in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I can either connect all of them as an instrument event, 1, and then again, and so on. You do understand it's very tedious. But I can replace it with one link. Sorry. I can replace it with one link, instrument event, for example. I'm selecting not, event, and here it is. Let's move on to some other stuff. If I want to move the port of a link, I can go back and right-click on the link, our arc, and then we'll open the port movement. Here you can see that I can change it and move the port to the location which suits me best. I can just break the link by using the remove relation. Another option of links is using the invocation link. If I had, let's clear our screen a bit. Let's say we have two things, and we want to prepare for the salad. Okay. Salad making, preparing, meaning that I want to prepare to make the salad. Taking the knife, and then I invoke the salad making. So I have the invocation link. This is one link, and here I can add whatever I want to do. Now let's see some invocation update. If I'm selecting myself, I can do self-invocation. Self-invocation means that once a process finishes successfully, it will re-invoke itself from the last sub-process. When we're doing self-invocation, there is an option to put time duration of how much time between instantiation of the next iteration of the process will be done, meaning that the default number is 1 second. We finished, we are waiting 1 second, and then we trigger again. If we change the number, for example 5, we'll see there is a small clock here indicating there is a different time. Now, once we change the time, there is a new option here of changing the time into a different process. Selecting the entities extension, you can see the add waiting process. This is toggling between the view of self-invocation and actually showing us triggering the event of waiting and then re-triggering the event again of the salad making, preparing the process. I can switch the views accordingly. If I'm doing in Zoom, the self-invocation will be automatically applied to the last sub-process. I can move it around, but there is no need to. If I want to put the other waiting, I should select the father process and clicking. This will add another process, sub-process of waiting to my process. As we've seen, we can toggle the links according to the outside. If I'm taking an object and connecting it to the outside, it means that it is connected to each and every sub-process, and I can toggle them back and forth. But if I remove one of the sub-process, that means that it is not connected to the entire, and I can no longer toggle it. If I will reconnect the link, I can again switch back and forth. Thank you.